My interest in horror films did not come about until I was out of high school. My love for horror films didn't show until a few years after that. That was truly partially because my parents were not okay with me having that crap in the house, and partially because my idea of the horror genre was a simple, misformed one. I believe all horror films to be one of the two things: a monster movie featuring either a werewolf, a vampire, or a zombie, or a tongue-in-a-cheek slasher that was Wes Craven's Scream, which I liked. Sure, those things have their place in the genre, but there is oh so much more to horror. I would begin to learn that when a high school pal of mine popped A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors into the VCR while I was sleeping over. A Freddy Krueger movie? Asked in a mock disgust. Being that I had never seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies before, I said to him, "Can't we just watch something good?" My friend told me, "Trust me, this is a good one." Over the next 96 minutes, my mind was blown and my eyes were opened to just how badass a horror film, even one in the middle of the franchise that I had no knowledge of, could be. Freddy Krueger was one of the creepiest, villainous, most unstoppable baddies I had ever seen. But it wasn't just his gruesome appearance and the malicious killing techniques that thrilled me. The kids in the movie were not simple victims, running away and making the stupidest decisions. They were dream warriors. Freddy Krueger comes back to kill the last remaining children of Nightmare on Elm Street, whose parents burnt him to crisp. Years earlier, he has a few surprises waiting for him. One is the person Kristen, Patricia Arquette, who has the abilities to pull others into her dreams. The other is that the psychiatric hospital, where all the kids have been committed because of their suicidal behavior. None other than Nancy Thompson, who has already faced Freddy Krueger in the past. After a couple of members of their group were murdered by Freddy, and none of the hospital staff will listen, Kristen and the company decided to take the fight to the burnt face, using the individual powers they have in their dream world. Watching this movie today, I was honestly surprised at how much I still loved it. Having now seen countless other horror films, including all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I am still impressed with not how original Dream Warriors is, but how good the practical effects are, which makes me miss movies doing that. Why can't we still use practical effects today? If a movie like this was made today, it would be CGI to hell. But moving on. How often do you see a horror villain in a film swallow a chick whole? That is just one of the many crazy forms of Freddy takes to accomplish the awesome kills in this movie. I also love that Freddy Krueger grows to being more sense of humor in his installments. Some of the horror buffs will decry Dream Warriors as a poor entry into the franchise because it marked the arrival of more silly Freddy. But I think Dream Warriors has him showing a perfect balance of fun and fucked up. True, the character development is not great, and no, Dream Warriors doesn't have the true terrifying feel of the original. Those things coupled with the fact that the male protagonist, Neil, is about the least heroic guy to be in a horror film hurt the movie's awesome level a bit, but not so much that it is really fun to watch. It is super enjoyable and one of my favorite horror films of all time. Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors gets a 9.5 out of 10. This is Red Wolf signing out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.